Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel. And, we are in a moment where we look at the way that Microsoft is going ahead with Windows and the features and how a lot of people are not happy of certain things in Windows 11 or and so on. And we look at overlapping Windows versions. I was looking at the end of support of older versions of Windows and looking at how many versions of Windows, active versions, were actually available at a certain amount of time. And if we take into account that a lot of them have 10-year support, it's kind of interesting to see that as we are going back into a 3-year release of Windows versions, that means that in the coming future, we will have a certain amount of Windows versions that are all going to be in support mode. So this is kind of interesting because we already see that it's kind of a stretch when we look at the quality of what we've been receiving in terms of updates and features and changes coming and not coming. One of the things that's interesting to see is in the past we had versions of Windows that overlapped, of course, as that was a case of a roughly 3-year release, but they weren't, exactly 3 years. There was some problems with some of the updates, some of the versions. Some versions enjoyed much longer times of support before any other operating system ever happened. One of the examples is Windows XP, that enjoyed a pretty long run alone, well, with, of course, overlapping Windows, Millennium Windows 98 supports, but there was not something else until Vista, and it took time because Windows Vista was a kind of a panic Windows mode. They were working on something that just didn't work, scrapped everything, and then made Windows Vista, which was not very appreciated in general. A lot of it has to do much more with hardware than the operating system itself, honestly, but, there's a lot of things that people didn't like. And then we had, of course, Windows 7. So there was an overlapping moment of Windows XP, Vista, and 7, 3 at the same time, and a little bit of overlapping with Windows 8. So at one point, there could be up to 4 systems. Now, if we have a 10-year operating system date, what's happening now is that we've got Windows 10 until 2025, Windows 12 next year. So we're going to have overlapping Windows 10 and Windows 12 operating systems together, and Windows 11 also. So 10, 11, and 12, 3 systems. Now, by the time that we get to 2027, which will technically beat Windows 13 or whatever they're going to call it, Windows 10 is going to be gone, so we're going to overlap again at Windows 11, 12, and 13. And if there's a 10-year support, we're going to have another one in 2030, which would mean we would overlap with Windows 11, 12, 13, and 14. Once again, I give them the numbers just as they follow, so it's 4 Windows overlapping. And it just makes me think of, isn't that kind of way too much? If we look on the Mac side of things, there's never been that many overlapping systems that are supported. They quickly will want people to move on to a new system when the new system's there. And what happens is that you look at that and you're like, are you maybe not overstretching the operating system? It's kind of hard to think that already with what we see in quality in Windows, what we see in how people just want Microsoft to focus on very specific things and fixing things and what they don't like. How is that going to be possible when you are and have to still take care of so many systems at the same time. I am not sure that that 3 year view of having Windows every 3 years is something that's necessarily sustainable in the future, and it's not what people want either. Especially business. Windows is a business operating system. It's the majority of Windows users are business. And business don't want to have a new version of Windows every 3 years. They're going to go crazy. Which is why they will extend support a lot, and think about also the extended support versions. So in Windows in 2025, we know that Windows 10 is going to have 3 extra years of paid support. That's for sure for the business side. So we're getting into 5 systems almost at some point. It's something that it's difficult to think about and believe Microsoft can pull off. And I think they should simplify things. The idea of Windows 10 being a operating system that you maintain, update, and have new features from time to time, and just play with that and keep that, is not a bad idea actually. If they would have not pushed too many updates, that just conserve one update a year, why not have continued that way and say, look, Windows 10 is what we have, and we're going to upgrade it every year and have something continuing to the future. I think that would have pleased most people than what's happening right now with Windows 11 and then a Windows 12. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Microsoft's going to overstretch itself and have a hard time dealing with all the different versions they're going to have to take care of, especially with what we see right now and the quality of things happening? If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.